Well, hello everybody. This is Dr. Dick Pritchard from Columbus, Ohio. You are listening to our CTFO Rock Star Team training for October the 20th, 2019. I hope all of you had a great week. Let's start off with our company. For you new folks, CTFO is a nutritional products and wellness company. We sell nutritional products. That's what we do to make money. It was founded by these three guys that you can see on your screen if you're watching online. If you're listening by phone, Steve and Stuart Finger and Michael Kahn. I've known Stuart and Michael for about 10 years now. Two fantastic guys. Just met Steve in person recently. Talked to him on the phone for a couple of years at least. You will not find three people with more integrity and honesty and transparency than these three guys. They're the kind of people you want running the company that you're working with. For your information, in case you didn't know, they do not receive any corporate bonuses or salaries. They're paid exactly like you and me. As distributors, they have to build an organization. They have to use the same pay plan we use. Okay. Another example of how they built a company for distributors, not just for the owners. Well, we made some progress this week. As always, we had 110 new members. 16 of those came in for free by mail. Our 31-day team sales volume, $63,239. That's a bit of an increase over last week. Our sales are doing really well. Our weekly team sales volume, which is what really matters, is that's how we get paid weekly. So far, the week is not quite over yet, $15,171. That's a good week, okay? Our total members, 32,488. That number is a little bit misleading because the company allows people to join and never kicks them out. And over the last, well, let's see, over 4 years now since I've been a member, that number just keeps growing. That number never goes down. What matters is the ones who are participating and buying product and expanding the business. And that those folks drive the weekly and 31-day sales numbers, okay? But it's nice to know how many total members we have, and I'll come back to an important point about that on the next chart. The postal profit system, our system for mass mailing letters that bring people in on auto ship, okay? This week we sent out 56 info packs to those who responded to letters. We had 3 auto ship signups, and we sent out 41 follow-up letters to people who got an info pack roughly a month ago. The postal profit system is working well. We're going to do a little promotion after the Reno event to try to get people who are in that system to do more mass mailings. That's the key to making that work. We have another mass mailing that just went out, a few days ago. I'm expecting to be buried next week in lots of responses to that. All right, let's update a few things. First of all, 3 weeks from now, I will be on my way home, or maybe I'll already be home from Reno. And I'll tell all of you what I saw and heard there, okay, those of you who didn't make it. You're going to be blown away by what I have to say to you, because I'll finally be able to reveal what I already know. It may already be available at that point. in your back office or from an e-blast from the company or whatever. But trust me, it's going to be amazing. I know a number of you are planning to go to Reno, and I'm looking forward to meeting you there. I will be there Friday afternoon, Saturday, and all day Saturday, and leaving very early on Sunday morning. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the Extreme Keto Shake and my personal experience with it. I've lost 15 pounds in the last, month, I guess. And here's what I'm doing, just for the record. First of all, I'm combining the keto shake with what some people call intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting usually means you don't eat anything after 8 o'clock at night until lunchtime the next day, or if you want to take it a little further, you can go all the way to dinner time. And during that time, you can have coffee obviously with no sugar. You can have water. Basically, I have an L-arginine drink in the morning that has almost no calories in it, and I drink 1 cup of coffee and water. And I go usually until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I have my Extreme Keto Shake. Here's how I do my shake. I take half a glass of ice, and I pour the leftover coffee from the morning into that. So I've got a glass of iced coffee, dump that into the blender, add a glass of coconut milk, high in MCTs or good fats. I use a scoop of the keto shake in that and blend it up, and I also add a couple of heaping tablespoons of plain whole milk yogurt. Okay, again, good fats. So I put all that, blend it up, and it makes about three glassfuls by the time I put all that in there, and that's what I drink around 2 o'clock or so. And then I have dinner with the family. A 1 plate, that is no seconds, dinner. What I'm finding is that I was concerned that I would be really hungry from not eating all morning, because I've always been a breakfast eater. Turns out with the combination of the stuff that's in the shake and drinking the water, I haven't felt hardly any hunger at all. In fact, as I record this, I haven't had anything to eat yet today. I'm looking forward to that keto shake after I make this call, this recording. But so far, like I said, I've lost 15 pounds. I'm trying to lose almost 40 pounds. So I got a ways to go. But if you saw me in Connecticut, when you see me in Reno, you're going to see less of me, okay? The keto shake does work, especially when you combine it with other methods that are known to help weight loss, like drinking lots of water and just lowering your calories, okay? That's what I'm doing. I encourage those of you who have weight issues to do the same. Weight is not just a matter of looking good in a swimsuit. It impacts your health in all kinds of ways. If you have hip or knee problems or any of those kind of joint problems, the more pounds you add on, the more stress you put on those joints. It's also important to avoid heart disease, type 2 diabetes, etc. Get the weight off. Okay, I mentioned on the previous slide about how many 32,000 and some people we have, and how a lot of times people join, never do anything, never hear from them again, and so on. Well, yesterday I got a call from a guy who joined, let's see, May the 12th, 2016. far as I know, he never bought any product, never mailed a postcard, never did anything, okay? Now in 2016, we had 3 products. We had Shake-Offs, Chew-Offs, and Super 7. And that was that way the whole first 2 years I was a member. This guy recently got one of our flyers or postcards or something. He saw my name on it, and for some reason he had my phone number, or he found my phone number. So he gave me a call. He was very interested in the CBD and what it would and wouldn't do, and he'd heard a lot about it on TV and stuff, and he's anxious to get started. And he said, "Can I start again?" I said, "Yep. All you gotta do is order 1 product." I gave him his website, his username, all that kind of stuff, his ID. So he's going to go. I said, "Go look at all the products we have now. We have more than 80. We only had 3 when you were in before." So the nice thing about never kicking anybody out is sometimes somebody rises from the dead, okay, and that's a good thing. So sometimes if you think your postcards are not having any effect, like you brought people in and they didn't buy anything, they didn't jump on the bandwagon right away, maybe they've got a personal situation or something. You never know when somebody is going to decide it's time for them to do this. I want to talk a little bit about the limits to direct mail recruiting. I am a direct mail guy, as most of you know. I've been doing direct mail recruiting for almost 10 years in our industry, and for the entire time I've been with CTFO. I have a postcard system that works, okay? But works is a relative term, and I want you all to understand about direct mail and what it will and won't do. First of all, direct mail depends very strongly on the copy that you send to people. That's why I occasionally change something on the postcard. Right now I'm featuring our 10X Pure Gold Super 1000 because that's our hottest product. I've been emphasizing CBD for the last almost 2 years. I changed the color that we print the card on at least once. Might change it again, I don't know. But all those things present a different view to people who receive postcards. Sometimes people receive a card and then 6 months or a year later they get another card, okay, from somebody else. That happens. So if they can see something a little bit different that this time catches their attention, that's important. The second factor, besides copy, is the leads. I can tell you that it's harder than ever to find good quality business opportunity seeker leads in today's world. Why? Partly because a lot of the companies have abandoned mail to go to internet marketing. That's one reason. There was a major lead supplier that I think they got sued or something. I don't remember exactly the story, but they basically shut down their business opportunity mailing list several years ago. That hurt badly. There's still a few pretty good-sized vendors out there, including our own friend at Smarts Marketing, but it's tough. And if you were to talk to Rob Martz, he'd tell you it's hard to find new leads. You can run ads, you can do all kinds of things to try to create leads, but it costs money to do that. So some of us are trying to do our best to increase what we call the universe of names, but it's been slow going. The second thing is With all of my leads, as you know, I scrub them. I have a NICSI file. So anytime I get new names in, I run them against the NICSI file to make sure there's no known NICSIs. But we still get NICSIs. We get them all the time. That's just a fact of life with direct mail. Thirdly, there is the time factor. Okay, direct mail is slow. That's why we call it snail mail. Okay, and so if you mail out postcards now, most of the responses will probably come in a month from now or something, 3 or 4 weeks from now, if they get mailed back. If they go directly to your website, that might happen faster. However, one of the challenges we have is people don't follow the instructions. I have one guy who, in the space where he's supposed to put his ID number, he writes ID pound 456789 or whatever his ID is, instead of just putting the number on there. Okay. He's also, by the way, wasting money by using 55-cent stamps instead of 35-cent stamps on his postcards. So one of the challenges is whether or not people follow the instructions so that they can get a quicker response and get people to go directly to their website. When somebody tries to go to the website that you have given them on your postcard and it doesn't work, sometimes they won't do anything at all. They'll just throw the card away. Other times they will mail it back to me so they can find out more about what it's about. Okay, but there is a time lag, and just like the guy who called me after 3 years, there's also people who let the postcards sit on a desk or a kitchen table or wherever they gather, tend to set mail aside. Some people set it aside somewhere, and they find it months later or even years later. I've gotten cards back that I know were mailed several years ago because of the postmark or the design of the card or whatever. So there is a time factor. And finally, there is, you could call the luck factor or the chance factor or whatever. Anytime you mail something to a list, you are rolling the dice, okay? You might have a hot part of the list. You might have a bad part of the list. You never know. The dice just come up the way they come up. And in fact, you can't even reliably say what the response rate is unless you do a controlled test with 5,000 to 10,000 mailing pieces. Well, most of you, I guess I've done that many over the last 4 years, but most of you have not and probably won't. If you're mailing 100 cards a week, in 52 weeks, you'll mail out 5,200 cards, okay? That's the beginning of a reasonable test for direct mail. Other than that, anything could happen. Your results could be anywhere from 0 to amazing, okay? But for a postcard, I have never seen a postcard pull better than 3%, okay? And I have done some controlled tests way back in the beginning. That was with a postcard and a special list that I bought that I can't get anymore. Again, goes back to the list issue. So before you start whining, complaining about you mailed 500 cards and you didn't get any responses, or you got 2 responses and they didn't buy anything and so on, understand that if you want to use direct mail, you must be willing to commit to consistent mailing for at least a year. Don't go out and just dump 1,000 postcards in the mail. You're going to spend a lot of money doing that, for one thing. Mail 100 cards a week, mail 50 a week, whatever you can afford, okay? Don't spend your life savings. Don't spend money that you need to be spending on food and shelter or whatever. Set up a budget, stick with the budget, and be patient, okay? You really need patience if you want to use direct mail because it is relatively slow, okay? What's the fastest and cheapest method? Word of mouth, okay? Open your mouth, take your products, and when you see how great they are, like I've had with the keto shakes and the Gold Super 1000, you can tell other people what the products are doing for you. That is a great way to bring people in who will buy product. Just a reminder, 9 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday and Thursday, the company has corporate calls. 319-527-9699 is the number to call for those calls, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The other thing I'll remind you about is Mike Swilling, who is the #1 distributor in our company and my personal enroller, has his legacy team call at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday nights. Okay, that number 319-527-2973. Mike is probably the best I know at what we call word of mouth or face-to-face recruiting. If that's what you want to do, or that's your only choice because you're low on money, you want to listen to Mike. You can listen to him for free and learn how to do it. Well, how do you build a CTFO business anyway? First of all, it's a 1, 2, 3 deal, okay? 3 steps. #1, be an active member. Be a product of your products. We have more than 80. I'm sure you can find one out of 80 that you are willing to buy on a monthly basis. $47.47 plus shipping. Mine cost me a little over $50 a month. Anybody can afford that. #2, advertise your business and bring in new members. Lots of ways to advertise. You can advertise with our mailing systems. You can advertise online. Some people use social media. But the least expensive, and in some ways the most effective way, is word of mouth. Tell people about those wonderful products that you're using. #3, follow up with your new members so that you can encourage them to do #1 and #2. How do you follow up? I've had people say I've signed up 9 people. I keep sending them emails. They don't respond. I call their phone number. They don't respond. Well, let me tell you a little secret. 95% or more of emails go unopened. They are probably sitting in a spam folder, or they may just be deleted. People don't open emails as much as you think. #2, phone calls go unanswered. They go to voicemail. Why? There's so many spammers out there. And you call somebody, even if you're leaving them a voicemail, they don't know who you are. And even if you say, "Hey, this is Dr. Dick Pritchard. You just joined my CTFO group," they may or may not decide that they want to talk to you, okay? The best way to follow up is to use direct mail. We have a welcome letter, okay? If you shoot me an email and tell me your name and ID number or username, I will create a personalized welcome letter for you and send it back to you. as a PDF file. You can print it out as many times as you need to. Send that welcome letter to every new member. It encourages them to get on AutoShip to get some free postcards and names. It also encourages them to give you a call. If your new member gives you a call, answer the call or call them back. You know, if you're screening your calls like most of us do, call them back, okay? Well, just rinse and repeat steps 1 to 3 until you've got at least 7 levels of active members, and you'll be making more money than you can imagine, okay? You've seen the pay plan, so have I. 7 levels, full levels of active members makes you lots of money. Why do I use direct mail? Okay, first of all, I'm the kind of guy who doesn't like to do word of mouth, especially. I do some of it because now I have people coming up to me and asking me about CBD, or when somebody that I know asks me what I'm doing for a living now, since I'm semi-retired, I say, well, I sell CBD oil. Have you heard about it? Okay. I don't go out and jump my friends, but I let them know what I'm doing. That's all you have to do, okay? But direct mail lets you and your team approach people you don't know. I remember way back in the past when I was involved in referral marketing companies, I would tell my sponsor, I've run out of people to talk to. What do I do now? He'd say, you need to go to the mall and meet people. Well, that's not a very effective thing to do, let me tell you. But with direct mail, you can reach out to people you don't know, and you and your team can do it. So lots of people can be reaching out, and that's what makes it work. Of course, you should always contact your warm market, people you do know, and so on first, and then expand to the cold market. You know, hit your warm market first. You can enroll your spouse, your adult children, your mother, your father, your sisters and brothers, your cousins and aunts and uncles. Enroll those people. Even if they're mildly interested, get them to enroll. Don't do it without their permission. All right. Some of them will buy a product, and that's all they're going to do. But it'll give you a start. Okay. If you want to buy 2 products, enroll your spouse, buy one under you and one under them. All right. That's one way to have an active personal. But do your warm market first. Number 3, anybody can mail a letter or a postcard with absolutely no training. All right. I have these training calls, I call them, but really, you don't need to be trained to put a stamp and a label on a postcard and to write your ID down. At least you shouldn't need to be trained. Sometimes, like I've mentioned the guy before, I guess he needs a little more training because he's not following the rule instructions, and he's probably not listening to this phone call either. But the truth is, it's easy, and because it's easy, it's duplicatable. Duplicatable is the magic word in our industry. Why? Because you want to create what is called a geometric progression. That is, it doubles and triples and quadruples and keeps building and building and grows like a virus or bacterial infection or something like that. That's what duplication will do. It also builds on what we call leverage. In other words, the work of other people. If you have 10 other people or 20 other people mailing with you, that multiplies what you're doing. That's what leverage is. It works for everybody, except those who quit mailing. Okay, you can't just throw 250 free cards and names you got from me out there in the mail and expect to get rich. That doesn't work. Okay? What works? Weekly mailing over and over and over again and never stopping. If you have a budget that you can afford, let's say it's only 50 cards a week. If you just keep mailing those 50 cards a week, you'll get there. If you give up and quit, no, you won't get there. Well, let me tell you a little bit about this week's story. This is kind of an embarrassing story. Back in August, it was widely reported that one of my heroes and mentors, a guy named Dan Kennedy, passed away on August the 21st. That was the word I heard. It was reported on social media and so on. I actually, in my home business advertiser column that I wrote a tribute to Dan for the September edition of Home Business Advertiser, and talked about all the things I had learned from him and so on and so forth. Well, this past week, I found out that even though Dan was in hospice care and expected to die, okay, he didn't die. And it's kind of embarrassing. He received a lot of letters and encouragement from people, and he had great doctors, and he was a fighter. Dan's a fighter, and he made it back. He's out of hospice now, I understand. I don't know if he's completely healthy again, but it's great to have Dan back, and that's a good lesson to learn. Mark Twain once had his obituary published by a newspaper, and he came out and said, "The reports of my death are highly exaggerated." Famous quote from Mark Twain. I guess Dan could say the same thing, but he's a great example of people who stand up and fight instead of lay down and quit. All right? You guys have a fantastic week. Reno's coming up. It's not too late. Not too late for you to get there. Think about it. Dr. Dick, signing off.